Hello everyone, welcome back. And this is the detailed solutions third part to NEET Physics 2025. First two parts would be there in the playlist. If you want, you can go and check it out. So let's see this third part where we'll start from 31st question to 45, the last part of it. Okay, let me read the first question. A physical quantity P is related to four observations A, B, C and D as follows. P is equal to A cube B square whole divided by C root D. Then we need to find the percentages errors given percentage errors of A, B, C, D as 1, 3, 2 and 4 percentage there. Okay, it's a very simple. What do? You apply logarithm either side and differentiate it, you get it. So here the power becomes multiplier, the exponent becomes multiplier. A power is 3, 3 becomes multiplier here, and B power is 2, the 2 becomes multiplier, and for C power is 1, 1 only the multiplier, but we do not take minus here even though it is in the denominator, because we are dealing with a random error. We go for the maximum possible error, always positive will take. So plus only will take here, and power of D is 1 by 2, root meaning 1 by 2 is the power there. So that power becomes multiplier here. You just substitute there, you will get 13%, very simple question. Now let us go to 32nd question. The sun is rotating around its own center once in 27 days. Sun is rotating. What will be the period of revolution if the sun were to expand to twice its present radius without any external influence? So the earth is expanding to double the radius. Mass is not changing and there is no external force. Because there is no external force, angular momentum has to be conserved. I into omega has to be constant. So mr square into 2 pi by t must be constant. M is the same and 2 pi is the same. What is changing? Only r square and t. R square by t has to be constant. Otherwise t must be proportional to r square. So t2 by t1 equal to r2 by r1 whole square. So it is going to be 2 square 4 times. T2 becomes 4 times the initial value, that is going to be 108 days. 108 days is the answer here. And that is about question number 32. Let us look at question number 33. The radius of Martian orbit around the sun is about 4 times the radius of the orbit of Mercury. Okay. So Mars radius is 4 times that of Mercury. Martian year is 687 Earth days, then which of the following is the length of the 1 year on Mercury? So this is Kepler's law directly, t square proportional to r cube. T2 by T1 equals to R2 by R1 whole power 3 by 2. So they had given T1 as 687, we have to calculate T2, knowing that R2 by R1 is how much? 1 by 4. So you can simply substitute there, you will get 687 by 8. So how much do you get here? So how much do you get? Around 88 days, is it? Yeah, so how much do you get? Around 88 days. Yes, 88 days is the answer you get there. Now let's go to 34th question. A wire of resistance R is cut into 8 equal pieces. Okay. From these pieces, 2 equivalent resistances are made by adding 4 of these together in parallel. 4 of them in parallel and the other 2 also 4 again parallel. So 4 parallel and these 2 are connected in series. The net effective resistance of the combination would be. So when you connect 4 resistors in parallel, their resistance becomes small r by 4. And this is also small r by 4. Small r by 4 plus small r by 4 becomes twice of small r by 4, which is going to be r by 2. But small r itself is r by 8 because it is 1/8 of the original wire. So it becomes r by 16. Answer is r by 16. That is going to be the answer. Next, 35th question. A photon and electron of mass m have the same energy. Energy is the same. The ratio of lambda of the photon and lambda de Broglie wavelength of electron, we need to calculate the ratio there. So energy was said to be same, then we need to find de Broglie wavelength ratio. Energy of the electron is p square by 2m, alright, and p equal to root over 2m into E, right. And lambda is what? H by linear momentum. So h by linear momentum is h by root over 2me. That is about the electron, first part. But when you go to photon, energy is not p square by 2m, it is going to be hc by lambda, hc by lambda. So hc by lambda is what is energy, and lambda for photon will calculate, that is hc by E, and that is the second part there. Now they are saying that energy is the same, alright, energy is the same, energy of the first part is the same as energy of the second. So I am taking the same E there. Now we just take the ratio, lambda of the photon to lambda of E, meaning second equation to first equation, if I take the ratio hc by E by h by root over 2me, and h gets cancelled out, you will get c into that E also, one E gets cancelled out, you will get 2m by E under root. So what is the answer to that? C root 2m by E, that is going to be the first option there. I think you understand that. Now let us go to 36th question. A sphere of radius r is cut from a large solid sphere of radius 2r as shown in the figure. The ratio of the moments of inertia of the smaller sphere to that of the rest part of the sphere about y axis would be, that is what they are asking. Okay, very good. So what we do is, first let us take certain informations here. We know that mass proportional to volume, and volume is proportional to radius cube. So mass proportional to radius cube, that is one important point. Now if you take r doubled, when radius is doubled, then mass becomes 8 times, because r 2 cube, no, radius cube. So if a smaller sphere has m mass, then the bigger sphere will have 8m mass when the radius is doubled. Radius doubled meaning mass is 8 times, r cube times. So okay, the bigger sphere is 8m, the smaller sphere is m. So if you remove the smaller sphere from the bigger sphere, then the remaining will have only 7m mass. Okay, let us consider that. So first they are talking about the moment of inertia about its axis, about its diameter for the bigger sphere. I2 I am writing it as 2 by 5 mr square, but m is 8m here and radius is 2r. So if you simplify it, you will get 64 by 5 mr square, that is the moment of inertia of the bigger sphere, that is I2. Moment of inertia of the smaller sphere, not through its diameter, but about this if I calculate, it will be 7 by 5 mr square, 2 by 5 mr square plus mr square. Alright, that is I1. This is for the smaller sphere and this is for the bigger sphere. But they are not asking about the bigger sphere, they are asking about the remaining part of the sphere. So remaining part would be I full minus I removed. So I of the full sphere minus I of the removed sphere will be the I of the remaining part. I2 minus I1, that is going to be I3, which I just take the difference between it. I2 is known to you, I1 is known to you, 64 minus 7 will be 57. 57 by 5 mr square will be remaining. Now they are asking you to find the ratio of the first sphere to the remaining, that is I1 by I3, that is going to be 7 by 57. 7 by 57 is going to be the answer. Okay. Now let us go to the next question there. An electron of mass given 9 into 10 power minus 31 kg and charge 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb, all standard values, moving with a speed of c by 100, where c is the speed of light. Very good. Is injected into a uniform magnetic field of magnitude 9 into 10 power minus 4 Tesla, perpendicular to its direction of motion. So okay, 90 degrees. Very good. We wish to apply a uniform electric field E together with the magnetic field so that the electron does not deflect from its path. So it should not deflect. Only because of magnetic force it will deflect. It goes in a circular path if there is only magnetic force. Now that centripetal force has to be balanced by electric force. So the net force has to be 0. Electric force is this and magnetic force is this. Summing up has to be 0. So Q gets cancelled. You don't require E here. I just gave it. So from there I will see that E bar has to be minus of, when it goes to the other side of the equation, it becomes minus of V bar cross B bar. So if you simply calculate the magnitude of it, it will be VB sin 90. E has to be of magnitude VB sin 90. And V is how much they gave? C by 100, na? 3 into 10 power 6 meter per second, into B gave 9 into 10 power minus 4. If you substitute, you will get 27 into 10 power 2 volt per meter. That is going to be magnitude of E. So magnitude of E has to be 27 into 10 power 2, meaning either it should be 1 or 2 or 4, that is all. So 2 and 3 can be avoided. The next point is E bar has to be perpendicular to B bar, otherwise cross product does not work. E bar is a cross product of V bar and B bar, right, with a minus sign of course. So cross product must be perpendicular to the vectors which are involved in that cross product. That means E bar must be perpendicular to B bar. They said what about the first option, E bar parallel to B bar, so you can eliminate that. E bar has to be perpendicular to B bar and the magnitude is 27 into 10 power 2. So the answer is 4. 4 is the answer for this. Alright, so I think this is simple only. Now let us go to 38th question. The electric field in a plane electromagnetic wave is given by Ez. Ez they had given along z direction 60 cos 5x plus 1.5 into 10 power 9t volt per meter. Then expression for the corresponding magnetic field is. So first and foremost they must have the same phase, alright. That means whatever is in cos function it has to be the same, 5x, 5x, 5x everywhere, 1.5 into 10 power 9, 1.5 into 10 power 9 everywhere. So phase is the same, you cannot eliminate the options just based on the phase there. And magnitude of B has to be E by C, E equal to BC is a general formula you should know. E they had given 60, so C we assume it to be 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second and we can actually check it. So this is K and this is omega. Omega by C equal to K, right? 1.5 into 10 power 5 divided by 5, so you will get 3 only, correct only. 3 into 10 power 8 you have it, that means it is going through vacuum only. So 2 into 10 power minus 7 Tesla, that should be the magnitude of B. 2 into 10 power minus 7 I am getting it in option 3 as well as in option 4. So 1 and 2 can be eliminated. Then we need to see what is the direction of B there. See, electric field is along z direction, then magnetic field cannot be along z direction. Electromagnetic wave E bar and B bar must be perpendicular to each other, right? So that means Ez and Bz cannot work. The answer should be only third option where B is perpendicular to E and also having a magnitude B equal to E by C. So that's a question answer for that one. Now let's go to 39th question. 39th question. A body weighs 48 Newton on the surface of the earth. The gravitational force experienced by the body due to earth at a height equal to 1/3 of the radius of the earth from its surface is, okay, 1/3 of the radius. See, students might use the formula mg dash equal to mg by 1 minus mg into, I think mg into 1 minus 2h by r, something like that. They will use the formula 1 minus 2h by r. This formula if they use, they will get wrong answer because this is only approximate value and this formula is valid only for small heights when the height is negligible compared to radius of the earth. But here the height is 1/3 of the radius. So you can't neglect the height there. You have to use the general formula. Gravitational force is g m1 m2 by r square. From there you need to start. First principle. Elon Musk always talks about starting from first principle only. Anything you solve. Okay, weight equal to g capital M small m by r square proportional to 1 by r square. So initial surface distance is up to surface capital R, but final distance is r plus r by 3. From the surface it is r by 3. So W2 by W1 equal to R2 by R1 whole square, R1 by R2 whole square because it is inversely proportional. So R by 4R by 3 whole square if you do, you will get 9 by 16 times the initial value, 9 by 16 into 48. So 16 3s are 48 into 9, you will get 27 Newton. That is going to be the answer for 39th question. Okay, now let us go to 40th question. An unpolarized light beam travelling in air is incident on a medium of refractiveness 1.73 at Brewster's angle. Then, so this is something very regular standard question. Angle of incidence, let's say, is theta, then tan theta equal to mu is going to be the Brewster's law, tan theta equal to mu. So tan theta equal to 1.73, that means mu equal to root 3, approximately root 3. That means theta equal to 60 degrees we can take. So I think this you will get it. So angle of incidence must be 60 degrees. If angle of incidence is 60, then angle of reflection also will be 60 only. So 60 and 60, alright. Angle of reflection has to be 60. What else are they asking about? Both reflected and transmitted light are perfectly polarized. That's a wrong statement. Only reflected light is perfectly polarized. Transmitted light is completely polarized. That is wrong statement. Not the transmitted light. Reflected light will be 100% polarized. Reflected light is completely polarized and the angle of incidence is close to 60 degrees. This is correct. Close to because 1.73 it is, not 1.732. It's not exactly root 3. That's fine. Answer is 3. 3 should be the answer. The reflected is partial, that is wrong again. Reflected light is 100% polarized and transmitted light is partially polarized. A constant voltage of 50 volt is maintained between the points A and B of the circuit shown in the figure. The current to the branch CD of the circuit is, I am going a little faster there because questions are simple only, right. So, they are asking you to find the current I there. They are given 50 volt resistors are given. So, I will try to find the R effective first. First let me calculate R effective. What I will do is I will just join C and D together because they are having same potential. This is going to be the graph you will get, equivalent schematic diagram. You see 1 and 3 are connected in parallel and 2 and 4 are connected in parallel. 1 and 3 parallel connection becomes 1 into 3 by 1 plus 3, 3 by 4. Same way 2 and 4 parallel will give you 2 into 4 by 2 plus 4 will be 8 by 6 or 4 by 3 there. And these two are in series, so 3 by 4 plus 4 by 3, 9 plus 16, 25 by 12 will be the effective resistance there. Once I have effective resistance, I can also calculate current there. EMF is 50 volt they had given, R effective is 25 by 12, so you will get 24 ampere. Yes, 24 ampere, correct. So once I have the total current coming out of the battery, so through the battery 24 ampere goes. Now it is going to split there. How is it going to split? Whenever you have parallel connection, IR is constant, right? I is inversely proportional to resistance. So you see resistances are 1:3 ratio, that means currents will be 3:1 ratio. This 24 will split, 3/4 will be in the 1 ohm resistor, 1/4 will be in the 3 ohm resistor there, 1/4 is 6 and that will be 18, okay. And same way this entire 24 will be distributed between these two in the ratio 2:1, resistance is 1:2, so resistor current will be 2:1, double 16 there and 8 here. Total when you sum it up it will be 24 there. So once I have these currents, now I can apply junction law at C. At C I will apply junction law. Net current approaching the junction is 18 ampere. Net current leaving the junction is going to be I plus 16, that is what I have written here. 18 equal to 16 plus I, or I equal to 2 ampere is going to be the answer there. So that is question number 41 for you. I hope you understood that. It is very simple, straightforward one. Now let us go to CF 42. The plates of a parallel plate capacitor are separated by a distance d. Two slabs of different dielectric constants K1 and K2 with thickness 3d by 8 and d by 2 are inserted in the capacitor. Due to this, the capacitance becomes twice. So compared to the initial, now the capacitance has become twice the initial value. Okay, let K1 equal to 1.25 K2, then value of K1 they are asking. You see separation between the plates is d. Out of that 3d by 8 and d by 2 is already occupied by these two plates K1 and K2. What is left over in vacuum or in air will be d minus of that, that will be d by 8. So this d by 8 in air, 3d by 8 in K1, d by 2 in K2. And now if you want to find the capacitance, when nothing is placed between them, that is the initial capacitance, let us say epsilon naught A by D. Now when the capacitor is filled with dielectrics, then capacitance will be what? Epsilon naught A by D1 by K1 plus D2 by K2 plus D3 by K3, that is the formula you have. D1 is 3d by 8, K1 is K1, D2 is d by 2 divided by K2 and D3 is d by 8 divided by 1 because it is in air. Okay. Now you can take d out, epsilon naught A by D can be written as C1. C1 by this whole thing is going to be twice the capacitance, that is what they had mentioned, twice it becomes. Now you reverse it, you will get 3 by 8 K1 plus 1 by 2 K2 plus 1 by 8 equal to 1 by 2, this becomes reverse there. And here they gave this K2 equals to K1 by 1.25, I am going to substitute there in the place of K2, K1 by 1.25 if I substitute there, and K1 can be taken out common. 1.25 is nothing but what? 2.5 by 2, otherwise 5 by 4, and already 2 is there, so it becomes 5 by 8. 3 by 8 plus 5 by 8 will become 8 by 8, which is 1. So K1 equal to 3 by 8 you will get 1 by K1, otherwise K1 equal to 8 by 3. 8 by 3 is 2.66 is going to be the answer there. So I think it is a simple straightforward formula based. So only thing is a little bit of calculations you need to do it. Let us go into 43rd question. Consider the diameter of a spherical object being measured with the help of a vernier calipers. Vernier calipers is very important. It comes almost every time. Suppose its 10 vernier scale divisions are equal to 9 main scale division. This is very standard. So 10 and 9 when you have it standard, then least count will become main scale division by 10. What is main scale division? They had given as 0.1 centimeter. So 0.1 centimeter divided by 10 will give you least count there. Then what happens? they say that the 0 of vernier scale is at x equal to 0.1 centimeter when the jaws of the vernier calipers are closed. When actually jaws are touching each other, if it's working properly, it should show 0, but it is showing 0.1 centimeter, meaning there is error there, 0 error. 0 error is 0.1 centimeter, whatever you are showing there. Now, if the main scale reading for the diameter is m equal to 5 centimeter, then now the object is placed. Now, main scale reading is showing 5 centimeter and the vernier coincidence is 8. Then the measured diameter after 0 error correction is. So, reading will be equal to main scale division, main scale reading plus vernier scale reading. Main scale reading is 5 centimeter given. Vernier scale reading is coming out to be vernier coincidence into least count, that is 0.08. So, total reading will be 5.08 centimeters. But the true value would be equal to reading minus error. Reading is 5.08 minus error is 0.1. So, if you subtract it, you will get 4.98 centimeters. That is going to be the answer for this question. Now, 44. A 2 ampere current is flowing through two different small circular loops, copper loops, having the radii 1:2. The ratio of their respective magnetic moment is magnetic moment directive formula, current into area of the loop. And they are talking about only area, current is the same in both the loops. So, area proportional to radius square, area equal to pi r square. That means magnetic moment is proportional to radius square. M1 by M2 equal to R1 by R2 whole square. 1 by 2 whole square is which is 1 by 4. 1:4 is the answer for it. When radius is doubled, magnetic moment becomes 4 times. So, final question 45. This question is slightly tougher. It is basically a bit of calculus one you need to use. It's very unfair to ask in NEET examination, to be frank. But anyway, so let's try to understand it. I will try to explain it in a simpler way. Let's hope you will get it. Consider a water tank shown in the figure. It has one wall at x equal to L. So, this is x equal to L where you got one wall. Okay. Then and can be taken to be very wide in the z direction. So, very wide in the z direction, meaning into the board. See, x and y are like this. This is perpendicular to board, z direction. Okay. When filled with the liquid of surface tension S and density rho, the liquid surface makes an angle theta naught, which is very, very small. You see, small angles only they are asking about, with x axis. We can see that with x axis it is making 30 degrees, theta naught. Okay. At x is equal to L, very good. If y of x is the height of the surface, when the equation, then the equation for the y of x is. So, that is what he has asked. I will try to solve it using one small piece of it. So, what I will do is I will take a tiny piece of this element over here and then we amplify it, magnify it and try to look at it. So, the tiny piece will be something like a trapezium type like this. So, now you see what is happening. I am not going to take the entire part, I will just focus on only that which is above the free surface only. That much only let us consider and draw the free body diagram for it. So, what is the relation you have? You have surface tension tangential everywhere. So, cos theta component would be horizontal and sin theta component would be vertical. So, cos theta component will cancel out, leave them and focus on only vertical component. S sin theta dash is upwards, S sin theta is downward, and again weight is also down. Weight of this liquid is also there, no? Weight of the liquid is how much? Rho into area into height into g. That is what I have here. So, this height is anyway large, they said, perpendicular to board. S into L you are supposed to take, I am writing it for unit length, let us say S into sin theta dash upwards, sin theta downward, that is the net force. That should balance the weight of this per unit length into the perpendicular to board. Rho into y into dx, this is dx, I have it, okay, and 1 is into the board. Rho into y into dx into 1, that is going to be the mass, into g will give you weight there. So, this is sin theta dash minus sin theta, meaning change in sin theta, na? Change in sin theta we will write as delta of sin theta, but when it is small change we will write d of sin theta. I am just writing the whole thing as d of sin theta there. Okay, now there is dx, right? I will bring it to this side. When I bring it to this side, it becomes d by dx of sin theta. But they also said in the bottom there, you see, sin theta x equal to tan theta x is almost equal to dy by dx. So, wherever I have sin theta, I will write it as dy by dx there. So, d by dx of sin theta becomes d by dx of dy by dx, which is nothing but d square y by dx square, just to get the double derivative there. So, if I substitute there, s into d square y by dx square is going to be rho y g You take s this side, you will become rho y g by s. That's going to be the answer. That means option 4 would be the correct answer to it. So with that, I'll conclude here 2025 complete solutions, detailed solutions for NEET physics. I hope you understood that. If you have any doubts, I'll be very happy to assist you in terms of understanding them. If you require any more questions to be discussed, I'll be very happy to contribute to that. So with that, I'll conclude here. Thank you very much for your valuable time. So until next time, goodbye.